Welcome back! Last week's episode was so much fun learning about the ambassador animals at the zoo. I really enjoyed learning about Patches. What was your favorite part? Let me hear!
Auntie Benny, I love the iguanas. Auntie Benny, the snakes were so scary. Auntie Benny, I really like learning about sparkles.
Those all sound fantastic. This week, I'm going to take you on an adventure. We're going to learn about all the larger animals at the zoo. We're going to meet the lion, the lioness, and the kangaroo family. But first, we got to find Joey. Come on, let's go find him. Hey, Joey, there you are. Come on, we got work to do. Hey Joey, found you finally. We looked all around the zoo for you. Well, right now we're looking at our lions and the lioness.
Yes.
They are two beautiful big cats.
Yeah, they're kind of like our all-stars here at Hope Zoo. Kind of definitely the celebrities that everyone loves to come see. We have Lucas, our male lion,
Right.
and Jasmine, our lioness.
Ooh, I know, and I saw Lucas is looking like a little Rasta man right now.
Yeah, he has a big old mane, you know, and so typically, you know, in captivity, people can trim up the manes. That's only if they're kind of doing a medical procedure, but
Right.
Lucas has been really healthy, so, you know, we're gonna leave him alone.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess with him. Leave him just kind of happy as can be.
Yeah, I agree.
And so Lucas came here in about 2013, and he's been in here ever since. And Jasmine joined us about a year later in 2014.
And Jasmine and Lucas, they're not siblings, they're not relatives?
They're not siblings. They both came up from a zoo in the U.S., but they're unrelated.
Right. So let's go back to Lucas.
Yes.
So let's talk about his journey. How did he arrive here? You said from a zoo in the U.S.?
Yeah, from a zoo in the U.S. It was a big it's a very difficult process to, you know, import a lion into Jamaica, you know. So they actually fly here on a plane.
Oh, they come on a plane?
Yes, in a big old plane, and they build a big old comfortable kind of cat carrier for them and everything.
Oh.
But, you know, it's a very delicate process. So, you know, they came from California straight into Kingston, you know, and he passed through all the permits and regulations. And then we brought him here to the zoo.
Oh, fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lucas was originally, he was in a zoo, or was he like a cub when he came? How old was he?
He was already an adult when he came here.
Oh, he was.
So he was born in a zoo in the U.S. You know, he was born in captivity, and then luckily he was donated to us, and so we just paid for this very expensive shipping process to get him here. Yeah, and then a year later we were able to get his friend Jasmine.
So Jasmine now. So Jasmine, does she have a similar story to
Yeah,
Lucas?
she actually came from the same place as well. So they're unrelated, but they are actually very kind of close friends as well. We hope to put them together actually in the same exhibit, but it's a very kind of risky process putting the lions together. You never know what's going to happen, so we want to be totally sure before we put them together for real.
Have they ever interacted with each other?
They interact, yeah, actually all the time. It's pretty neat. So you'll see them, their exhibits are right next to each other, and they kind of brush up against the fence. They kind of show affection, and it's really sweet. Both of them kind of, you can tell they have a kind of good bond together.
Okay, so I see both of them kind of like grazing or pushing their bodies against
Yeah.
the fence. Is that for attention? Is that for what?
It's both. It's, you know, communicating, like it's a positive communication, and they also do it to kind of mark their territory. You know, when they're rubbing up against things, they're leaving their scent on those things as well. You know, they do it on the ground, on rocks. And then it's also, Lucas and Jasmine will both do it to the keepers and each other to kind of show kind of affection for each other.
Oh, that's sweet. But you guys actually rub him?
No, we don't.
Or her?
Oh, we can run from the fence, but we never go in with the lions. No, we want to respect them. These are, you know, could be wild, dangerous animals, and so even though they are friendly towards us, we never go in with our lions. The exhibit, which you'll see, is actually specifically designed to safely hold lions and then be able to safely work with them. So the keepers can shift them, you know, back to a holding area, and so while the lion's back in that holding area, the keepers can come into the exhibit safely while the lion's secure, do some cleaning, put the food up, and then the keepers can exit and open that sliding door, and then the lions come right in.
Oh, perfect.
And so both Jasmine and Lucas' exhibit is designed so the keepers can safely work with them without going in with them.
All right. So we spoke about their coat.
Yes.
So I spoke about the dreadlock.
Yeah.
But the lion has a distinctive
The mane,
right?
yeah.
So can we describe what's that? Is it like a sign of a king of the jungle who's a person in charge?
Yeah, it is kind of like a kind of, it's definitely how you can tell male and female lions apart. You know, some animals, some birds, you know, for example, you look at them, you can't tell which one's a boy or girl. But lions are obvious. The males have this big old mane, and the females have no mane. They just have the straight brown coat. And yeah, you can usually tell because they'll live in prides, which is like a group of lions. And usually, most often, it's the biggest kind of lion that is kind of the one in charge. So there's a very strict hierarchy of like who's in charge in their pride. And typically, it's made up of a few males and multiple females in one group of lions. And the females actually do a lot of the hunting. But
wait, so the females are the ones that go and hunt the food?
A lot of the times, yes. A lot of the times, yes. But the males will do it also as well.
So what you're saying is the female, the lioness, she does most of the hunting?
They actually do a lot of the hunting. There'll be a group of them that will hunt together. And believe it or not, they actually are only kind of doing this for a couple hours out of the day. Most people don't even realize that for about 20 hours out of the day, lions are kind of resting, sleeping, not doing much. This is usually the hot part of the day, so they're active kind of in the early morning around sunrise, and then sunset is when they're kind of going out hunting. So they typically say they're resting for about 20 hours. For a couple hours of the day, they may be walking around looking for food, and then maybe for an hour they're eating.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, we get people that come to the zoo, right in the middle of the day, it's really hot, and they're like, why is the lion sleeping?
Where's the lion? Why is he sleeping?
Why is he sleeping all day? It's like, well, actually, that's what they do in the wild. They sleep a good portion of the day, and especially in those hot times, and they come out when it's a bit cooler out.
And to be clear, the zoo does not do any tricks or ask them to do any.
No, we don't. We're definitely not any type of circus. We like to let our animals kind of be like they would in the wild. We want to keep them happy. We don't want to stress them at all. We do some fun enrichment for them when it comes to feeding. We'll hide their food in certain places or kind of because that's what they do in the wild. They have to search for their food. So we try to kind of stimulate those same behaviors.
Right. And we saw that a while ago.
Yeah.
We saw that the lion was actually looking for his food.
Because sometimes we put it in the bushes over there. Sometimes we'll put it in the back, and so he doesn't know where it's going to go. So it's kind of a fun game. We'll play with him.
Yeah, that's really, and then I saw the food that they ate.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah, so they typically get about 6 to 8 pounds of meat a day. So they're strict carnivores. They just eat meat in the wild. So we usually give either beef or chicken, and kind of mix it up with them. And so it's actually pretty expensive. It probably costs around $40,000 a week just to feed 2 lions. That's part of the reason why we started our donation page, the GoFundMe page, is so, with the zoo being closed and being a nonprofit, most of our revenue comes from people coming to the zoo. And now with it closed and no one here, we've been feeding these animals on a daily basis, but with no kind of help.
So all the care and the love is still there, but you are not getting the revenue because no one's here.
No one's here. Yeah, we get some great help from the government, but with no guests coming here, that's it's quite expensive to run a zoo.
Right.
And so we started that donation page so people can kind of help feed these animals. They can adopt a lion, they can adopt an iguana to kind of help out with our daily needs.
Right. I think that's a great idea, and if you guys can ever help and go to your GoFundMe page and please contribute to the emergency fund because these lioness and all of the animals actually they look really happy and really well fed.
That's our #1 priority. No matter what, we're going to make sure our animals are happy and healthy. And you saw Lucas and Jasmine. They get fed very well. We've had some farmers reach out donating chickens to us. Which is pretty nice. We've had a really neat deal with PriceSmart has actually donated extra fruits and vegetables. So we've had great support around Jamaica.
Oh, great.
But yeah, Lucas and Jasmine, they're kind of definitely the all-stars. The people, they get fed every day at 3:30 around. So like when people come to the zoo, we usually tell them, come in the late afternoon, at least to see the lions. Because most of the day they're going to be hiding out sleeping, but come around.
Hot.
Yeah, it is hot. But you come around 3-4 o'clock and you'll see them kind of getting their dinner time snack.
All right, so we got a question from one of our viewers.
All right.
And it's from Jackson.
Hey Joey, why do they call the lion the king of the jungle?
All right, that's a great question, Jackson. So lions are often referred to kings of the jungle, even though they don't necessarily really live in the jungle. They actually live in the grassland and savannas of Africa, but they are the kings. Also kind of scientifically known as apex predators or keystone species. So an apex predator is kind of top of the food chain. That's why they're referred to as kings, because they have no predators. There's nothing that kind of hunt lions. They're the ones that are hunting other prey.
They're the top.
They're the top, the apex, the top of the kings of kind of other African savanna. which is actually, they play a very important role in the ecosystem, you know, helping kind of, you know, regulate different species, different populations, and then as they hunt different animals, you know, they don't eat the whole animal, so they move on, and then hyenas or other animals come in and also get to feed on that. So by them hunting these animals, other animals get the benefit as well. And so that's what is called a keystone species. A keystone species is an animal that plays a very kind of important role in the environment.
Alright guys, we made it to the kangaroos. Alright Joey, tell us, what do we have here?
Alright, so behind us we have our 3 kangaroos who just recently came to Hope Zoo just last year, early 2019. I'll let Akima here, our head little kangaroo keeper, tell us about them.
Alright, so we have 3 kangaroos and all 3 kangaroos are females. However, our youngest kangaroo was born here. She's actually 1 year old, May 5th. Red kangaroos are usually said to can go quite a while without water. However, our kangaroos here, they're fed with lettuce and kangaroo pellets and also rabbit chow. But in the evening, we have our 3 superstars. Our favorite should be Rue because she has a really stubborn personality. However, she likes to imitate her mom a whole lot.
What's her mom's name?
Her mom's name is Zoe and her name is Zara.
Oh, so there's 3 girls in here.
Yes.
Zoe, Rue, and Zara.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so can we describe them to us? I mean,
What?
Zara looks pretty big.
However, Zara is big in body, but she's young in age. Our oldest kangaroo is Zoe, which is Rue's mom. She's 2.5 years old, and Zara is 1.5 years old.
And then Rue just turned 1 last week, right?
Yes.
Had a birthday party for Rue?
Well, we tried.
Yeah. How would you describe Rue's personality?
I would say Rue is more of a stubborn kangaroo. However, she imitates her mom a whole lot. But on a whole, she's a darling.
Oh, so she comes up to you and you can actually touch her and be friendly with her?
Well, Rue will allow us to be friendly with her if her mom is there. Other than that, she won't allow us.
So kangaroos, they make one of the best mummies, right?
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive. They can be actually taking care of 3 generations of kind of kids at one time. They can be pregnant with the kind of upcoming baby Rue. They can have 1 little guy in the pouch, and they have a baby one that they're still breastfeeding outside of the pouch. And so they can actually produce 2 different kinds of milk for those 2 developmental stages. And then, you know how big a baby kangaroo is when it's born?
How big? Huge.
No. Actually, I can't even say. It's like about the size of a small bean when they first come out. You know, so they come out and then they come out into the pouch. And then one of the first things that develops in a baby kangaroo is the front limbs. And this is because they need to crawl up the hair of the pouch to get onto the mom's nipple to breastfeed. And so that's kind of one of the first neat kind of things. And then as they kind of develop for the next few months, then eventually they'll get big enough to come outside the pouch.
So at what stage, like how big would they be when they come out of the pouch to be on their own?
Usually around 3, I don't know that one.
Well, for starters, because kangaroos, we don't really know their when they are usually pregnant. It's after they give birth, and we see the baby moving inside there. Because remember, when they're born, some say it is the size of a bean or the size of a thumb. So during that period of time, you won't be able to know. So probably the next 3 months or 4 months after that, when it's a much bigger baby and it's moving in the pouch, that's when you'll be able to tell that there's a baby inside there. So probably 3 or 4 months after birth.
Okay, and then they stay in their mommy's pouch until like a year, a little less than a year?
A little less than a year, because Rue came out like probably 8 months after we realized that she was inside the pouch.
Okay, so she now, at 8 months, she was completely on her own
Yes.
outside of her mommy's pouch.
But she was still feeding, because even though the kangaroos can produce 2 different types of milk, they have 4 teats. So the lower ones are for the younger babies and the younger roos, and the top ones are for the older roos. So even though she's outside of the pouch, she still breastfeeds from the top teat, even though she eats grass and the grains as well.
Oh, fabulous.
Because up until now, sometimes you realize that Zoe is still not as weaned Rue as yet. So sometimes you realize Rue would still suck milk now and then.
All right, Joey, we have another question from one of our friends. Noah, take it away.
Hey Joey, isn't it funny that a baby kangaroo is called a Joey? Get it? Joey? I'm just messing with you. My real question is, how high can kangaroos jump?
Ha! I love it. Yes, a baby kangaroo is called a joey, which is my name. That's a really good question. How high can kangaroos jump? So they're known to jump at least 6 to 8 feet high, but the most impressive thing is actually they can jump distances of like 25 feet, which is like a pretty good distance. One of the things that helps them jump that high is their tail, you know, so it's kind of like an extra leg almost. So it helps them balance and stuff, but it also can help them propel them forward to jump those neat distances.
Oh, so they actually use their tail to jump?
Yeah, if you watch it kind of real carefully, it helps propel them almost. And then the males will also use it. Sometimes you'll see males boxing, fighting, and this is typically a territorial thing, or maybe they're fighting over a female. So they'll use that tail to help balance. And so there's several different types of kangaroos, and here at Hope Zoo we have the red kangaroo, which is kind of the largest species out of the 4 types actually.
Wow, these kangaroos are impressive.
That was a really good question.
Yeah, good job guys. Thank you so much, Akima. Thanks for being here and sharing all your information on your amazing babies.
And thank you for having me. And remember guys, love them, accept them, respect them, and protect them.
You heard the lady. So guys, also, we're very lucky to have a great illustrator, Rachel Moss. She created some activity sheets, so please check our pages, and when you're done with them, submit them back to us. And this cool guy,
send us some more questions too.
He'll send you back a message. Thanks guys.
See ya.
Bye.